Hello, Commander Albie here again. This time we're going to be heading out and doing some exploration. Before I set off, I will point out that there's a couple of useful tools I use. The main one is I like to have the little central dot on the screen to actually indicate exactly where your ship's heading. This can be activated on the menus, as I'm about to illustrate. I'll show you where I'm about to find it. It's under Options and under Graphics. Sorry, ignore me. It's under Controls. Sorry. And under Miscellaneous, I believe it is. There we are. Show Screen Center Dot, which indicates exactly where the center of the screen is, so you can use that as a very handy tool to avoid going into the exclusion zones of the stars as you're jumping into them, because that's a big way to actually damage your ship when you're out and about exploring. I've got mine set to 1. If you change yours to 1, you'll need to then go down to Apply and hit Apply to actually get that to stick. Now I will plot my route before I head out of the station. So I'll bring up the galaxy map. A lot of people who spend all of their time around the bubble and don't explore may not know that the furthest you can actually plot a route for is 1000 light years. You can usually use the squares on here to indicate how far 1000 is. So that there roughly would be 1000 light years. See, just 924, so just inside the 1000 light years there. So that's basically as far as you can plot in a single set of jumps. Anything beyond that, it'll tell you that you're unable to plot. I'm going to head out to the Coalsack Nebula. Very dark region out here. Got my route. And it takes a few seconds. Now, an indication where your route becomes dotted like you see here, that indicates that you won't have enough fuel to actually make that without fuel scooping. Basically, there's a line which goes to here. That's the point at which my fuel will run out, or the current fuel that I've got will run out, unless I actually use it to use my fuel scoop to collect more fuel on the journey. So always travel with a fuel scoop, because were I to travel out here without a fuel scoop, I'd get here, run out of fuel, and I wouldn't be able to go back. So let's head on out of the station now. The Asp Explorer is a nice nimble little ship. It handles very well both in standard thrust and also in super cruise. The Anaconda's quite sluggish, as I mentioned before. Yes, I will. Yes, it handles... Oh, God. I overshot a little bit there, don't mind me. But yeah, you can zip through the letterbox quite comfortably in this ship, whereas obviously it's a bit tighter with some of the larger ships like the Anaconda. Now, the boost away from the station. This is the advantage of having the 4A distributor. You can keep boosting, whereas with a lower class distributor you'd boost once and then you'd have to wait for the bar in the middle to refill fully before you can actually boost again. Now, head off to my first jump. Love all the information it puts up on here now, where it tells you what's the star you're going to jump into next. So a K-class star, that's one of the scoopable stars. There are a couple of different ways of remembering the types of stars that are scoopable. There's KGB Foam, or Oh Be a Fine Girl Kiss Me is another acronym, and that's sort of a little way of remembering that. But also, if you're sort of filtering on your galaxy map to show the scoopable stars, it's the top 7 on the list that are the scoopable ones. Now this is the quickest way to obviously, like, if you're literally just like heading out to do jump, scoop, jump, scoop, jump, scoop, then basically you want to angle your ship right near the exclusion zone of the star, and as you can see it refueled my ship instantly on that first jump there. I'll do the same on the next couple of jumps to show you what I mean. So I'm jumping again. Next class of star is M, which again is another scoopable type, and it's a red giant, this one. So currently the route plot is plotting me jumps of around about 46.5 light years a time. This looks so much better since 2.2 dropped. Absolutely loving the look of hyperspace now. Right, so angle yourself right at the exclusion zone, and if you've got a decent enough fuel scoop, literally flying straight through it should actually top you up without having to make any real course corrections,
Fuel scooping
as it did just there.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
And on the next one I'll demonstrate exactly the discovery scanner, as I haven't really mentioned that one currently. Basically, when you drop into a system, if you've got your fire group set for your discovery scanner to actually be set to a fire group, you'll need to just pull that trigger and it'll activate the discovery scanner, and you'll see in the bottom right of your HUD the blue line which indicates the discovery scanner is firing. So yeah, angle for the edge of the exclusion zone. Fire the discovery scanner, it's charging, and there we are, we've honked the system as they call it. Discovered 14 new astronomical objects, so it's basically asteroid belts, stars, planets and moons within that system. Right, now generally when I'm doing fast routes, you can generally start firing up your FSD as soon as your fuel scoop deactivates. Not as soon as your tank's full, but when your meter on the across the top that shows your fuel scoop disappears, you're generally out of the heat zone of the star, so you can actually start firing up your FSD for the next jump. I'm going to slow down here and demonstrate the next method. For this I'll need to drop out of Super Cruise.
Frameshift drive charging.
Not like that, like that. Right, so now I'm in standard cruise, so I can boost again. So yeah, this is in standard flight mode. Now, I angle myself towards my next jump destination. Hold Y and press right bumper for toggle flight assist off.
Flight assist off.
So now I'm flying without the actual computer counteracting any movement I make on the stick. So if I were to angle up like that, without touching the stick, I'm now going to constantly keep spinning like that. So I'm going to get it to angle at the right place. And now if I jump into Super Cruise, or if I jump into next system, if I high wake as they call it, because I'm now in flight assist off mode, when I drop into the next star system, it will immediately bring me to a halt rather than obviously throttling up to full power again. This is very handy for detailed exploration, primarily because you're then able to just drop into the star, honk your scanner and select the star you're right in front of and scan that without having to fly past, decelerate and then turn around back to it again. So basically it drops me in and I'm already at 0 throttle. So I'll use my discovery scanner, angle myself towards the star. As soon as the item comes up in the middle there, select that and it'll start scanning the star, as you can see in the bottom left. And then after a few seconds It'll pop up and give me details on what the star is. You'll make a bit more money from selling this detailed scan as well. So this one's an Anarchy K-class star, which will be a scoopable one, so I can actually fuel scoop off this one. If you hold Y and go right on the D-pad for your system map, you can see all the different bits you've discovered in the system so far. So this one is the star I've just scanned, indicated by the blue marker. The blue marker is always where you are in the system. If I were to select that one, anything you've got selected has got the yellow marker. Anywhere that you actually are currently has got a blue marker. You can see this system was previously discovered by a commander. It says first discovered by Natatun. And obviously the secondary star in the system, which is a bit further out, it says unexplored because I've not actually detailed scanned it, but it has been previously discovered by another commander, Mr. Ruho or something it says there. So basically, just by using the Advanced Discovery Scanner does not put your name instantly on everything you've found in that system. You have to go and scan it toe to toe basically with each of the items. With stars, you can often select them and scan them from a couple of thousand light years out. With gas giants, it's usually within 1000 light seconds. The distance varies depending on the actual mass of the actual planet itself. But for things like Earth-likes and rocky worlds and moons, you need to get quite a bit closer. I will demonstrate that in just a moment. How far out are these? Yeah, they're obviously quite a long way out, so I won't demonstrate on this system because there are 249,000 light seconds out, which is probably a good 20 minutes travel time at least. So I will now, once you've selected the star will obviously be your primary target. So if you were to follow your little compass, it would literally just take you round and round and round in circles. To get back en route, hold X and go left on the D-pad to go to your target panel. Now, on here, this shows you where you are currently with the blue marker again, and the yellow marker shows you what you've got targeted currently. Now, if you've set it to jump the fastest route, you'll find almost certainly that the route to continuation will be at the very bottom of your list. Now, you could scroll down the list like that, or if you're at the top of the list, just press up and it takes you straight to the bottom of the list again. Now, the ones with this marker here, this little yellow marker, which indicates like point-to-point stars, that means if you select that, lock destination, that will then carry you back onto the route that you planned in the galaxy map previously. So I'm going to head on out now, scoop on the star.
Fuel scooping complete.
Head round it. And as soon as my fuel scoop disappears off the screen, I'm going to hit my frameshift drive button.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Like so.
Frameshift drive charging.
And you'll see the heat is not increasing, it's at 65% and holding, so it's not gaining any heat, it's actually losing temperature as I get further from the star again. With some ships, they're not so good with heat management. So if you're in a Type 9, for example, which I wouldn't expect you to do if you're exploring, but if you're in a Type 9, you might need to be a bit further away from the star before you start plotting your route onto the next system. Takes a while sometimes. Right, so dropped in, this is 0 throttle again, honking, select the star, scanning the star. While it's scanning the star, you can also go to the system map. It'll carry on scanning the star, it'll say currently here unexplored, but in a second that will change and show you the name of the star to show that you've actually visited there and actually scanned it. Right, now this bit down here, that's still quite a long way out, it's 33,000. I'll try another one. So I'll cross to the navigation panel, press up, go straight down to the bottom of the list again, select to continue the route, and hop on through the next star.
Fuel scooping.
Some of these stars will refuel you faster than others. Some of them are much larger than others and obviously take a lot longer to get around as well.
Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift
So
drive
jumping into the
charging.
next system. The next one's again a K-class star. In theory, you shouldn't ever really be very far from an actual scoopable star, but sometimes if you're jumping between the galactic arms, sometimes the stars get a bit thinner and further apart.
Engage.
I will illustrate this on the galaxy map in a little while to show you what I mean. Right, so scanning. Select star. Into the system map. Again, already discovered. That one's 1,000, so that's not too bad, that's not too far out. I'll just wait for this one to pop up as showing explored. There we are, so that's now explored. Now I'll select the next planet here. Previously discovered by Darth Butternuts, apparently. Right, so now let's head off out and start exploring the system. That's about 1,000 light seconds out. On your map, on your navigation panel on the left, you can see what you've got targeted. Or actually, now, if I reset filters, you can see what you've actually got targeted. I had to obviously filter the stuff out when I was doing some trading. So that's the planet I've now got targeted. This will be the star that it's orbiting around. So if I select that, it'll start scanning the star because I'm within the range of actually being able to scan it. It'll take a little bit longer than the other one perhaps because I'm further out from it. That one's now scanned. So now if I select the nearest planet in its little ring, in its orbit, we'll head towards that one. So we're currently 400 light seconds out. It'll start scanning reasonably shortly. The holograms do give you a bit of information as well. Generally the hologram you see there will indicate that it's a planet that has, I believe, an atmosphere. It's classed as a world. Oh, I wasn't paying attention and I'm going to overshoot. But it's starting to scan there, as you can see as I get closer to it. I'll have to spin round to actually complete the scan. It's now lost the tracking. But being a nice little manoeuvrable ship, that would have taken much longer to spin round if I was flying an Anaconda, for example. Right, so I've done a detailed surface scan of that one. Now, for example, I'd be able to look in my systems panel, and I can find out more information about this. The blue icon around the planet indicates it's one that I can actually land on. So it's not got an actual atmosphere. It's classed as a world, but it's not actually got any atmosphere. As of this date, we can't land on atmospheric planets, but we can land on ones which have no atmosphere. This one's a high metal content world. And on the left panel will give you much more detail about it as well. You can see what the gravity is like. It's 0.2 of Earth's gravity. There's no volcanism, and you can see what sort of materials you can expect to find on the planet's surface, like iron, nickel, sulfur, etc. So yeah, that's basically the basics of scanning systems and scanning planets. You can obviously go around and obviously scan each of these. The planets that you want to scan really ideally when you drop into a system are if you see anything that looks like an Earth-like world, or a water world, or an ammonia. Earth-likes obviously stands to reason, they look like blue with green land area. Water worlds, they can vary. They can look either really bright blue or they can look like pale greyish blue. Sometimes you'll look on the system map, you'll think it's a particular type of planet, but it's not, and it'll fool you, and you'll end up like scanning so many high metallic worlds, thinking that they're Earth-likes or the like. And now ammonia worlds generally look quite brown. They can obviously bring in quite a bit of money for you. Usually it's worth scanning gas giants as long as they're within a couple of thousand light seconds of where you drop into a system. You're obviously, everyone's free to obviously explore as they want. They can explore as much or as little as they want. Some people drop in, they just scan the star, jump onto the next system. Some people jump in, scan the star, scan anything that's within scannable range before heading out. Other people will go and scan every last item in the system. I will point out though that anytime you see an asteroid belt in a system, you don't really get anything for these. These don't have any real monetary value. I'm not sure you even get your name on them, to tell the truth, but you'll generally find that these are a complete waste of time exploring. So what I do, is go to my navigation panel here. I'll set filters, and I'll set filters to show stars, planets, landfall, planets and moons, settlements, stations, points of interest, signal sources and systems, but leave asteroid clusters blank. Then they won't appear on your navigation panel here, and you won't waste time just flying to discover some rocks which won't gain you any sort of benefit whatsoever. Right, so that's the very basics of exploration. I'll try and do a more advanced video when I've calculated all the things I've missed from this one, and I will hope to catch you again later.